All right, everybody, happy Saturday. Welcome to another live charting session and market review. And it certainly was an interesting end of July, beginning of August. And what we saw in NQ and ES across the market as a whole is pretty darn incredible because I was not expecting to have a complete bearish engulfing reversal candle with follow through one day after the FOMC meeting. So pretty incredible stuff there. Want to run you through what I'm looking for as we head into the week of August and just run through a lot of the bigger time frame, higher picture analysis that I'm watching for on NQ. As always, looking at the daily time frame, it is without a doubt we are in a bearish move. And as we go to the 4-hour and we look at some of the larger time frame EMAs, I know some people just call them squiggly lines on a chart, and that's fine. But when you look at these higher time frames, it is without a doubt we've been respecting staying below the higher time frame EMAs in the bearish trend, even after the incredible day that was the FOMC meeting in terms of a rally that I thought was a complete reversal going the other direction. So I was wrong and obviously willing to admit that, which is fine. But when we're looking at this higher time frame analysis, I think we're going to stay in a bearish trend until we retest 18,000 whole number. And then, I mean, it would be insane to just run all the way down into the high 17,000s again. We already swept what could potentially be the liquidity here. But I mean, we do have a buyer imbalance right here that was, pretty solid resistance, now flipped to what would be support. And that, again, I think further adds to the hypothesis that if we're going to look at a support and resistance, and I put that in air quotes because you truly don't know, guys, what that is going to be. So if we look at what was support here and then resistance, that virtually, this is obviously hindsight and cherry picking, but if you look at 18,000 whole number right here, that looks like a pretty solid zone in which area of interest, whatever you want to call it, in which we would have a bounce. That is quite a swing, though. I mean, that is, almost a 300-point swing. So if you're going to start dollar cost averaging into your position here, I mean, it's going to be a world of hurt if you start taking some heat on that, because we all know NQ can go further and further than we think it will. And a fun note, the bottom of your screen is not the bottom of the chart. She'll keep going. So, but looking at the higher time frame here on the 4-hour, in terms of an area that we could see a bounce, this would make a lot of sense. Hold number had some resistance here that would certainly be retested as potential support. So I like that area to look for a potential bounce. But if we just focus on more recent plays here, I like to use boxes for this, but looking in this general area, I like to see that we have quote unquote fair value gaps. Note that we had a fair value gap here, acted as resistance, pushed us down, but then we came through it. We consolidated a little bit on the 4-hour, pushed up, and then we slammed right back through it again, and we've yet to retest it. And this is the 20,000 level, 200 to 300 level. So definitely would like to see some 4-hour sort of testing and rejection of this area in particular before we really started to smash through that. Looking again right up here, but no joke. Obviously, this is all-time highs, so we'll just chart that out for fun. Really interesting here how we had a drop base and then somewhat of a rally, but just going through this little fair value gap here would most certainly act as a solid point to retest what could be a double top and another move lower. And again, we are really respecting the EMAs so far. We had the, let's see, I don't know what colors I have. So we had the 100 EMA be tested right here. Solid rejection, obviously. The 200 has yet to be tested on the 4-hour. So keep that in mind. Let's shoot us down to the 1-hour here. Obviously, still in what is a clear bearish trend. But This is where I want to start looking at what could be some bounce areas, support areas. And I mean, obviously, we're not too far off. So when we see the market open on Sunday, we could almost test these levels on Sunday, early Monday, and then give us another push back up. That would be really interesting to see. But here on the 1 hour, these wicks are really interesting. Buyers really tried pushing up, but just got smashed. But then we have like a descending wedge right here. So that's what's leading me to think we could push this puppy lower. Because you'll notice right here, we've got higher highs coming in, but this engulfing candle, I love how the market always leaves you questioning with a cliffhanger, a clear cliffhanger. Nothing saying this is going to be a rally. Like remove this candle right here. Remove this candle, which is the 4 o'clock hour candle. You would think we're going to have a solid push up, but you had right at 4 o'clock, you had a complete annihilation of that move. And it's going to leave you hanging through the market open. But looking back at this, and to see a rejection right here, this is interesting. Had your fair value gap here. Got the hanging man, which pushed us down. I'm trying to determine what makes more sense. If it's that move here, which would serve as resistance, or would it be this move here? I'm almost thinking that this would serve as a little resistance point as well. Because this was support. This whole day was support, essentially. Rallied up, got smashed through it. But I would like to see this act as, I would want to see this come up, retest, and have this be support before we move up and test these highs. And that keeps us within 19,000. So that's interesting. Let's move down into the 30-minute. Yeah, this still leaves us as question. This is clear resistance, but I would want to see if we could push through this relatively easy and have this consolidation period act as support going forward. That's interesting. Once we reclaim this, then you can start to switch there. But there's a lot of, like, even on the 30-minute, let's go back to the 1 hour. A lot of sell orders right through. I mean, dude, that's almost 500. Yeah, man, that's like a 500-point move of just straight selling pressure for an hour. And there are some imbalances there that the market would probably like to rebalance. If you subscribe to that ideology, it's your prerogative. 30-minute is just more of the same. I don't know if anything will change on the 15-minute. Just further consolidation on the 15-minute. And again, descending wedge right there at the bottom, riding below the 50 EMA. They're starting to swoop, though. We don't know how long this rotation up will take. Safe to say, my bias going into the week is going to be short. Just have any sort, if the buyers can't hold the bid and really keep us afloat moving up with a trend day or something to reclaim these higher 18,000s, you got to look short because 18,000 whole number is just so close at this point. And relative to 19,000 is what I'm saying. Not going to waste time on the 1 minute, obviously. Yeah, we're just still moving down here. So let's just chart out that. Might be a little bit easier to see on the 30-minute. Trend line down. And then just keep putting in those. For everyone wondering, I'm just trading the 300K Apex PAs. I have 3 of them at the moment. Really interesting to see what happens here if we push lower and then come up. But these longer time frame EMAs really, I think, paint the picture for us with where we're headed. Because we blew through them with ease after that trend day after the FOMC meeting. So that's going to be my bias for the week. I think we are going to continue to push lower until we retest 18,000 whole and then move ourselves back up. A lot of interesting news and data coming out this week too, and especially as we head into the election season that really ramps up in Q4. There's going to be a lot of policy that is going to implicate and impact this market. So especially NASDAQ being so tech heavy. Berkshire Hathaway just announced that they cut their holdings in Apple by 50%. A lot of stuff going on in tech. NVIDIA can't carry everything all the time as much as we think it can. But that's everything I got for today's video, guys. Here's our live charting. So you can clearly see where we're likely going to have some resistance levels along the way. But I think right here, just below 19,000 acting as support is what's going to turn this market around to make us rally towards the upside. So we're roughly 60 subscribers away from 1,000. So if you could, please subscribe, share with your friends. That would be awesome. Other than that, let me know in the comments below what you guys are watching, and I'll see you in the next video.